This is a special bonus episode and was filmed in front of a live audience, so no weird segments today. Regular episodes will return with the sibling duology next week. Now enjoy I'm a Fan of Bridgerton. I think.
All right, can you see us? Somebody put in the comments if you can see us.
Okay, good. And don't be shy, because we can see you.
Okay, we're gonna get started. We're talking about Bridgerton, okay? You cannot hear music, obviously. That's post-editing stuff. Welcome to the I'm a Fan of podcast, where people come together to share why they love what they love.
And sometimes hate what they hate.
I'm your host, Kaiser Brown, and I'm a fan of overly romantic period piece movies that make no sense. I don't know.
I'm Karington, and I'm a fan of dramedies.
And I'm Kenedi, and I'm a fan of Bridgerton.
All right, then let's get started. Okay, calm down.
I'm having fun. Okay, go ahead.
All right, how are y'all today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well in the Lord. How are you?
Oh,
Let's retry that. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right, so today, one of you picked to talk about Bridgerton.
It was me. I picked it. It was me. It's Queen Charlotte and Queen Charlotte.
Both are really good shows.
Yeah.
What made you want to talk about Bridgerton?
It was a scandal.
What?
It was a scandal.
It was
do you mean?
scandalous.
The whole show, and Queen Charlotte too, was a scandal. Just the love and the not in love and the wanna be in love. And, oh, I'm your friend, but I'm right about you. And all of that stuff, scandalous. Oh, I look like Queen Charlotte with my hair.
What made you want to watch?
It was really my sister and my sister-in-law. Hey, Tree, whoop. What else? Who else? Somebody else told me about Bridgerton. I don't remember.
Was it you, Kaiser?
Kaiser. Oh, yeah, Kaiser was talking about Bridgerton. So y'all talking about Bridgerton, and I said I need a show to watch. And I was supposed to watch it with Brandon, but he fell asleep. So I just watched it out by myself, and now it's finishing. Both seasons of Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte.
What's your favorite season?
In order, it would have to be season 1, then Queen Charlotte, then season 2 of Bridgerton.
Okay, what about you, other sister? What got you into Bridgerton?
What got me into Bridgerton? I saw it on Netflix. I saw it trending on Netflix. And I think you were the one who told me about it first, Kais. And I just started watching it.
Yeah, you said you didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, at first I didn't want to watch it.
And then the next day
I started
watched
watching it. Yeah, without you,
without
because
me.
I couldn't sleep. And so I said, might as well get a handle on things. And I started watching Bridgerton. And I've been hooked ever since. It's
They
so
need
good.
to hurry up and come out with another season because it's been too long and it's only been 2 days for me.
Hold on, when was the last season? What year was that?
Last year.
Oh, it was
Oh.
2020.
Queen Charlotte was this year. Last season of Bridgerton was last year, and then the next season I think is coming out the end of this year.
Okay, so what order did you like them in?
I think I like season 2 the most.
Me too.
Queen Charlotte, I'll put that number 2, and then the first season at number 1. Queen Charlotte, I got bored watching it though. I did.
So wait a minute, why was season 2 your favorite? Both of y'all.
It was more scandal. Like the first season kind of tread along. First of all, it was false because black people and white people was not together during that time.
You don't know what it was in England.
It was the 1800s.
in London. You don't know, was you there?
Y'all know England is racist.
Okay, they
But
still
it
racist
was-
today. It's America is
The
racist
matter
today.
is that season 2 was more scandalous, and I like how they gave a little bit more insight on everybody else's lives. 'Cause
Okay,
feel
I
like
agree
season
with
1,
that. I agree
was
with that
just
part.
Daphne and
Duke of Hastings.
the Duke of Hastings, yeah.
His name was
I showed you.
Simon.
Yeah. I feel like it was just based around them, but season 2, you started getting a little bit of taste of everybody.
Except for Simon.
Yeah.
Who?
Simon, the Duke of Hastings, the guy in season 1.
Chicken George.
They married Daphne.
The black guy.
Kaiser.
Oh, him. Okay. Okay, yeah. So tell us who plays in Bridgerton. Give us the cast.
Okay. So first, We have Regé Jean Page. That's Simon, the Duke of Hastings. Then we have Phoebe Never. That's Daphne Bridgerton. Jonathan Bailey. That's Anthony Bridgerton. He's the Viscount, the oldest brother. Simone Ashley. That's Kate. She comes in season 2. Nicola Coughlin. That's Penelope.
Scandal.
Claudia Jesse. That's Eloise Bridgerton.
I like her.
Then you have Golda. Rochefort. That is Queen Charlotte herself. If I butcher these names, I'm sorry. Then we have Clarita.
That child name is not Clarita. That's it. Charita.
Clarita. Chandron, who is Edwina. Then you have Ruth. They cut her name off, but that's Lady
How
Violet.
about you turn it?
I tried, but it still did this. It's still like
Oh, that's ghetto.
Julie Andrews, that's Lady Whistledown. Now
The voice of
yeah, she's the voice. She's not the actual character. Luke Thompson, that's Benedict Bridgerton. That's the second brother.
I like him.
Ruby Stokes, that's Francesca Bridgerton.
It's Francesca. Oh, the little girl.
That's the sister. Luke Newton, that's Colin. I believe that's the third brother. That's the third Bridgerton brother. And Adoja that's Agatha Danbury. That's Lady Danbury. To me, she makes the show.
She do. She's my favorite.
Ruby Barker. That's Marina. She doesn't really. She have a few episodes, but she not
She was more in
in
season
there.
1.
Yeah, she was more season 1 than
Who?
she was 2. Marina.
Marina.
You remember Marina, the pregnant one?
The
The
one
one
that was
who was
pregnant. The
pregnant.
cousin that came to live with the feather.
Oh,
And she has to
black girl.
hide. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's fine.
You have Florence Hunt. That's Hyacinth. That's the youngest sister.
Yes.
The youngest Bridgerton sister.
She didn't get to meet the daddy.
Polly Walker is Portia. That's
That's
the Featherington mom.
yeah, that's Lady Featherington.
Freddie. I
Who's
don't know
Freddie?
who that
I can't
is.
see who that is. Prince. Oh, the
Prince-
Prince of Persia.
Prince Featherington. When he come in
This
later,
wasn't Prince Featherington.
that's him.
the Prince. That's Queen Charlotte's nephew.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Then you have Hannah. She's Francesca Bridgerton. I think for her twice. Sabrina is Sienna Rosso. Some of these people I don't know.
Sienna was the opera singer that
Okay.
Anthony was with in season 1.
We're going to skip to the important people. Catherine Drysdale. That's Genevieve.
Wait, she is important. That's Lady Sharma.
Lady Sharma. That's Shelley Kahn. And then you have Rupert Young. That's Jack. Now, that's the cousin that comes
Lord
in after
Lord
Lord
Featherington.
Bridgerton. His older cousin, Lord Featherington, ended up passing away. And so he had to come in and be Lord Featherington.
Oh, him. He important.
Just say them.
Wait, no, that's not him. He important.
They have many other
Martin-
cast.
Martin Imbagati. That's Will, the boxer. He was important.
Yes. They have many other people, and I am butchering their names. So.
Yes. If you want to look
I'm
them up,
just
go
gonna
on
I'm just
Google.
gonna I'm just gonna do a post editing, okay? So let's talk.
We giving the audience something to look at.
That's a lot of names.
I guess we should start with how the season started. The first season. So it started with the social season beginning, right? And the social season during that time is when all the people come together and they're coming out to get married. What do you two think about how they treat race in the show? Because back then, Black people or other races,
It was segregation at its finest.
they weren't involved.
That's what I'm saying. Segregation
Yeah.
at its finest.
Yeah.
They were, but truly, I liked it like that. It wasn't as segregated, in my opinion, the first season. The second season is when it got, oh, you're Black, we're white, we're better, whatever.
What do you think about the decision to include all these different races? Like how they did with Cinderella.
Oh, I
Little
think
Mermaid.
that
What do
was
you think?
great. That was a great idea.
How so?
Because you got a chance to see how life really could have been like if we just included everybody instead of just seeing one side of things. I liked how they did. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest.
But the truth is, after doing research, most of this was true as far as Queen Charlotte and King George. Lady Danbury and them wasn't real, but the storyline of certain stuff was true.
Makes sense.
It was based on true
It was
events.
based on true events.
I didn't even know that. Did they say that in the beginning?
It's all fictional, but they took elements from real events to create this.
But I wonder in England, I still think stuff like that happened today as far as the social marriage thing. You got to go in and be betrothed to a certain person.
Yeah. I wonder how they did that because I didn't like that. I wouldn't like that
if
if I
we got
was-
married, mom and daddy would have to pay the person.
Yeah, you ain't about to be paying nobody to marry me.
I
If you
don't
don't
think-
want to
Oh my
marry me
God.
Just for me.
for the free,
But
you can know I'm
I will
priceless.
say that the Duke of Hastings, because I love him, okay, he said that he was going to take the money and put it into a trust for his wife because he was already rich. He really didn't want to marry her anyway, but that's what he was saying. But that was nice. I like it.
Okay, so a major story element in a season is picking a diamond of the season, right? And so the main character in this season was Daphne Bridgerton.
Yes.
And her storyline has to deal a lot with being a diamond of the debutantes. What did you think about the romance, I should say? What do you think of Daphne, her romance storyline?
Oh, God. She have daddy issues. Her daddy died, so she missing out a big part. And her brother got to step in. He really don't know what he doing. He just trying to do his best. And it's causing
has daddy
issues
issues.
for all of them
He-
have
they-
daddy.
he got
All of
bad.
them have daddy issues.
He got
But
bad.
wait a minute. All of them have daddy issues on this show. Every last person. Every character have daddy issues. The mamas, the sisters, the cousins, everybody, the neighbors, everybody got daddy issues. They just dawned on me. But she's trying to match her love story that she wants to her parents. You can't take what you see somebody else and then just be like, oh, that's what I want. Because you have to realize everybody's a different individual. And then it was like her and the Duke weren't good at community. They had this elaborate plan. If you have this elaborate plan, you're going to fall in love regardless. And then you know they're not going to want to do it, and then they're going to want to be together. Just too much. I think this show had too much sex for me. I'm just saying.
We didn't get to the sex yet. We have to get there.
I think her character, I feel like she was trying to portray the marriage of her mother and father because she missed her dad. She was trying to keep a piece of him.
Yeah, because she probably didn't have that much time with him.
Yeah,
If
like
you think
she
about
didn't
it,
get
she's
to
young
experience.
now. So you're getting married. She probably was like between the ages of 14 and 17 getting
Yeah, she was
married.
really young.
And then your daddy died like 10 years prior.
And then I also feel like if her dad was alive, you remember when she would always state her opinion to Anthony? I feel like if her dad was alive, she wouldn't do that as much.
Because
She
you know,
kinda was just
Anthony,
to
you
go with
my
the
older
flow.
brother. Yes, you over us, but you just my older brother. You're not my daddy.
Yeah.
I didn't come from you.
But I also think that's just a part of her character. I feel like Daphne is like the Jane Austen type of character.
Yeah, she was very outspoken.
Yeah, she's very outspoken. If you read any Jane Austen book, think like Pride and the Prejudice.
Never read it.
It's like Pride and the Prejudice. You saw a little bit of the BBC miniseries. Remember that? We saw like the first episode. The main character in that book is very outspoken. She's very sarcastic. She stands up for herself a lot, especially when it comes to her love interest. And the main couple in Pride and the Prejudice and Bridgerton season 1 have a lot of things in common.
I agree. I like that.
You agree?
though.
You
Yeah,
never
I
read
like
Pride and
that
Prejudice?
It doesn't matter. I agree.
I agree because I watched it and I read the book.
She was a great character. She was a great way to introduce the show.
What do you feel about her other half then?
Let me say, his daddy was a dirty dog. You don't do that to children.
And he was a very traumatized
He was very
individual.
traumatized. You know what I'm saying? Daddy issues.
He didn't even want to have kids, so he made her. I'm not gonna say he
He
made her
phrased
think,
it as though he
as
couldn't
if,
have
yeah, like
kids to
he made
her,
her think that
but that wasn't the.
he just
thing.
wasn't trying to have kids.
Yeah,
He wasn't trying to
trying to be married. First off, he
connect.
wasn't trying to have kids.
If you catch what I'm
He
saying.
was ready to die because he didn't want to get married and have kids. Like
Cause-
he was ready for the brother to shoot him.
Yes, you need to watch the show, Lena.
Later, come
watch
on,
it.
later.
Listen,
They're not doing a very
Duke
good
of
job at
Hastings.
summarizing anything.
Duke of Hastings, let me be better. She's throwing me off. First of all, he's traumatized. He comes from a rich family, right?
Not agreeing.
And he came back because his dad was dying.
Yes.
Okay,
But before they give you the story bit by bit, why he's the way he is towards his daddy. Like why he came in the beginning when he first came in, he told Lady Westphal he didn't like his daddy. He was only here for the business.
So let's start a little bit from the beginning, okay? In this show, you have a character named Lady Whistledown. She releases the scandal sheet, and that's where it circulates across London. That's where everybody gets their drama. This is where we're introduced to Daphne Bridgerton. She's the oldest sister out of the Bridgerton siblings, and this is her coming out season, which means that she is out to go find a husband. She's chosen by Queen Charlotte to be the diamond of the season, but the problem with that is she has her older brother, Anthony. His problem is that he keeps driving away all of her suitors. That's their main conflict in the season.
Like he's overbearing.
Anthony and Daphne are clashing because she's trying to find a husband, but he's preventing all the husbands from coming. There are a few scenes where they're at different balls and men are coming to talk to her, and then he's just like sending them away. Naming all their
The negative attributes.
telling them like this a thought, this is not. But
Boy, they
and,
used that word back in the day. That would be funny.
Thoughts. What is the thoughts?
and that's his problem. But the thing with Anthony that really clashes with Daphne is while she's trying to find a husband, he's living a life.
Scandalous.
He's dating someone that's not of his ranking and nobility, we
He's
should
an
say.
opera singer.
Yeah, she's an opera singer, and compared to who he is, because who is he? He's like
He's a
He's a
viscount.
He's a viscount. Okay, because of that, he can't really marry the woman that he wants to marry. And so he and Daphne clash a lot about that because she's trying to find a perfect suitor and he's trying to prevent her from finding a perfect suitor, but he doesn't have the perfect suitor.
Ain't that
And-
good though?
And meanwhile, while we're all talking about that, we need to talk about Marina Thompson. So the Bridgerton siblings, there are a lot of them, okay?
It's what, 9?
It's like 9. So you have Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, and I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hyacinth.
Right? They all have their storylines, but they don't really come until later. But we are going to talk about Eloise, right?
Oh, she's my
Mhm.
favorite.
She is someone who is a good friend to the Featheringtons, right? Her best friend is Penelope. Penelope is the distant cousin of Marina. Marina comes in and moves into their house in order for her to... There's a lot of things going on. So basically, they want to find her a suitor, right? She's really popular, and she has to find a suitor fast
She's very pretty.
and pregnant.
Pregnant.
But they didn't know she was pregnant until
Yeah.
much after she.
Yeah, but that's why she has to find a suitor fast. And so the storylines between the Bridgertons and the Featheringtons really come together because Eloise is best friends with Penelope, who's a Featherington. And Penelope is secretly...
In love with Colin.
No, Penelope is secretly Lady Whistledown,
Oh.
the gossip columnist. But we're not getting to that yet. And so everything and anything that's going on, when Penelope sees it, she's gossiping about it. She's gossiping about her friends. She's gossiping about the queen. She's gossiping about anybody that's out this season. And that's really what happens. Those are 2 of the main storylines. And you have the third storyline with, what's his name? I cannot remember these names.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
Black guy.
Duke of
Duke of
Hastings.
Hastings.
Yeah.
Simon? His name is
Simon. Simon. He's coming in and he's a bit mysterious, right?
Very.
But we find out that he is a friend of Anthony's.
A best friend.
Yeah, they're really close friends.
They said they were best friends.
They are really close friends. And ultimately, of course, he's Daphne's love interest, right?
Yes.
So the main storyline revolves around them, their family, and the Featheringtons. Episode 1 is introducing everyone. But then we come to episode 2, that's when we learn a little bit about Simon's tragic childhood, right?
It was so sad too. I
couldn't
felt bad.
remember
for
being-
him.
So do you guys remember his childhood?
Yes. I
Explain
do.
a little bit.
So,
you want to do it or you want
So-
to let me do it? Because
no,
you
let
did
me
the
do it.
last time.
so let me tell you about Simon.
She's just in love with him.
His mom was giving birth to him. And back then, they didn't have like hospitals and stuff like that.
Or
They just
epidurals.
had,
She died during
she
childbirth.
died.
Yeah.
We got to get to
God, we
there.
have to
You
get to
don't
the-
make it interesting.
See,
You just
this
get
is-
straight to the point. You can't do that.
That's because I have to do all this editing.
That's more fun. She died during childbirth, giving birth to Simon. Simon's dad, he didn't even care. It's like he didn't even show any emotion to this lady dying. He was just glad that she gave him a baby boy so that their
He gave him a
generation
heir.
could, to keep going. Okay, so we're going to skip to the part where Simon is growing up and he's having issues with speaking. Because for one, he doesn't have a good relationship with his dad. His dad doesn't really care about him when he finds out that Simon can't talk.
Yeah, he has a speech disorder.
Treats Simon as if he's nothing. He talks down upon him.
He called him
Which
an
kind
imbecile.
of builds up this, which is natural, this natural hatred they have for his dad because he thinking, what's wrong with me? So then Lady Danbury, who I believe she was close to Simon's mom, right?
They were
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she came to his aid, right? She
She
supervised him.
came and helped him learn how to talk, right? All those different things. And so one
Gave
day,
him the
His
courage.
father wanted nothing to do with him.
yeah, I
He was
mean,
very
absolutely
negligent.
nothing. It was terrible, really. And so one day he came to his dad and she was coming to show him that he could talk. But Simon, being the child he is, he lost all his courage. And so his dad talked down upon him. So when his dad was dying as
On
he
his
got
deathbed.
older, he told him that he was going to be the last heir of the, what they call him, Hastings.
Yeah,
Like he was going to make sure that he didn't have any
He was
children.
gonna make sure he
And
didn't have any
that
children.
made him not want to marry. Because if you don't marry, then you're not going to have children. So, boom, that's what happened.
then he
Okay.
died.
The dad died, yeah.
Yeah, obviously he was.
It was like this.
And it was like
Okay,
the
so-
promise he kept to him.
Back into the present, we go back to the queen, who's more frustrated with Lady Whistledown's writings, right?
Yeah,
Because she
Mm.
gossiping bad.
about the
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Penelope, who's a friend of Eloise, Penelope is a Featherington, right? Eloise is a Bridgerton. She doesn't know how children are made, right? It's-
Yeah, she told that. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yes, it did.
They didn't know.
I guess back
didn't
then they
prepare.
didn't get to talk like we would
The
get
birds
in
and the bees.
fourth and fifth grade about what would happen. They didn't have that talk.
Yeah,
It was
she
like they would be
confused.
raised and trained to become wives, but
Not
They
knowing their wifely
they
duties.
Nothing
didn't know.
else. They were
Yeah.
trained
Their
to do
marital
nothing else.
duties. That's
The skills that they learned were skills for them to be able to get married,
Yeah.
basically. So if they learned how to play music, if they learned how to read, if they learned how to be proper ladies in any sort of way, it was all just for them to be able to debut in a season and then get married to a proper husband who could, once their families died, like their mothers or fathers, they would be able to take care and become the head of the family. The men, not the women, of course. You have a few exceptions of that with Lady Danbury, right?
Yeah. Because
Her
But-
husband died.
Her husband died,
yeah.
but she had to fight for that. But most people
Or
during that
even the Lady Bridgerton, like
When her husband died, her son had to take over, but she
Yeah, but
still
he-
was the lady of the house.
she was still the lady of the house, but he became the head of the household. So
Posey
she
Bay.
wasn't the head. And so Marina, who's the cousin of Penelope, is confined to her room by Lady Featherington.
They whole storyline was just whack.
They call family weird.
They end up finding out that Marina's pregnant by a man named Sir George Crane.
And how they
Um,
found
He's
out
fighting in the war in Spain.
is because she didn't have a cycle. But they call it, what they call it? A course or something.
Yeah, of course. Back in those times, they used to make you sleep on white sheets so they could know that you had a cycle. And if you did not have one,
That's ghetto there. That ain't none of your business. Okay? Don't nobody want to wake up in a puddle sitting on the whites. Don't nobody want that. You ain't had no towel,
toothpaste.
no undergarment. You just wake up, boom. It just be like that was normal. I would
It
have been
was
too-
normal for them.
I would have been like,
Disgusted.
Anyway, by episode 2, Simon and Daphne are also pretending to court. So they're not really together, but they're pretending like they're together. They're pretending like they're dating.
Simon wants mothers to stop coming to him, and she wants to have some suitors come to her because everybody was going to Marina.
But Anthony is upset that his friend Simon is coming after
Yeah.
his
ooh,
sister.
he was not excited about that at all. I'm like, dang, it's not that deep. To the point where he talking about he was gonna shoot him. That's pretty bad.
And apparently Simon made an agreement with Lord Benbrook. What agreement did they make?
That's the dude that was he wanted Daphne to marry.
Okay.
And then Daphne didn't want to be with him because he was really old.
Oh yeah. And then he tries to threaten to ruin Daphne's name.
Yeah, because they were in the
courtyard
they
together.
hugged in the courtyard or somewhere, kissed or something.
Yes, and he
Caught
caught
him.
them.
And so that's when Simon ended up giving him a black eye.
Shh,
No, no,
Brandon, nobody
no.
asked you.
No, Simon didn't give him a black eye.
I'm sorry. Daphne gave him a
did.
black eye. I'm sorry.
Daphne
yes, she
was
did
the one
give him
that
a black eye.
hit him.
He got a strong left hook.
They was cute together
They
though.
was, I love.
Not the old man. He nasty.
No, he's a
You should not
Simon.
be craving after a young woman like that, sir.
But you have to realize back in those days, that's what they did.
It was
like
still
the man
trifling.
could have been like 30 years old and you giving your 14-year-old daughter
That's
to the
still
man.
trifling. They did that way back then. They kinda-
Anyway, Lady Bridgerton intervenes, and she's able to influence Lady Whistledown to reveal the scandal that forces Berbrooks to leave and go
I was
leave.
glad he left because I said, oh my God, what if this show like put her together, like her together with the old guy Berbrooks, and then she was like having some type of side affair with Simon. That's when my mind started going. And I'm like, I hope this show don't do that. It didn't though.
So the storyline with Daphne and Simon continues, right? But as they continue to fake court, they end up falling for
Catching
each other.
feelings
They-
for each other.
Entanglement.
Love was in the air. It was an entanglement.
we have to also remember the Featheringtons, how Lady Featherington is trying to find Marina a perfect suitor before she,
Gives birth.
gives birth.
Really, not even before she give birth, but before she started really even showing well.
Yeah. She
'Cause
wanted
she
them
was-
marriageably consummated so
Yeah.
that they could be like, oh, I'm pregnant on the first night.
And
boom.
then they was gonna say that the baby came early. That's so stupid.
But Marina wants to wait on George.
She was so
was
in
still
love
in
with
war.
George. Yeah.
The Queen schemes to match Daphne with her nephew, Prince Frederick of Prussia.
Yeah. Oh,
Gotcha.
I forgot about him.
I just told you that was his name.
Yeah.
And Lady Danbury tells Simon that he needs to propose to Daphne or step aside.
Because Lady Danbury was like, okay, obviously you like her, but you trying to play like you don't like her, and you gonna mess up her chances of being somebody's wife and being happy. So
Mhm.
if you don't want to be with her for real, then just leave her alone. And then that's when he was like, I can't, whatever they used to call it, walk around with you today or whatever. And then they had got into a big old argument. And she was like, I thought we were friends. He was like, we were never friends. And then
He had hurt her
he
feelings.
had hurt her feelings.
Remember, she came to speak with him. They was like outside of some type of cafe or something.
Yeah.
And he was acting like he never knew the girl.
Yeah, he was like, we were never
He
friends.
wouldn't give like eye contact or anything to her. Nope. And he just told her we were never friends. This was basically just the plan and whatever.
So basically, he cuts off the.
Yeah.
And she went home and was sad for a long time.
She was so sad. I felt bad for her. Poor thing.
Benedict is one of the brothers. He
He's the
expects. He's the second brother. His storyline is interesting.
I love his storyline.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But he suspects that
That was
Eloise
real.
is Lady Whistledown,
Yeah.
but
His own sister.
instead learns that they are both dissatisfied with their prospects, their lives, where their lives are going. Anthony tries to reconcile with Sienna, but she turns him down. Sienna is the opera singer, and Marina receives a letter from George stating his refusal to take responsibility for the child. Unbeknownst to her, that he didn't actually send the letter to her.
It was Lady
Featherington
maid.
and her maid.
Ain't that
Mhm.
ghetto?
How you just gonna sit there and write that like that? That girl was screaming for hours. She was in agony.
She was so hurt.
She was screaming.
She was, I'm sorry for her.
I did
Yeah.
too. It was like a.
She did good.
What do you guys think about her character, though, Marina, in general?
I feel like it's not enough backstory on her. Everybody else got backstory. She did. So it would have been nice to see. Like she told the story about how her and George, King Sir George, how they met and stuff at church. Nasty. You ain't hear that part? She said we was at church and we would go under the seating.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about.
That sound like them church folk. Continue.
So she was saying that that's how they met. So I feel like they could have gave more backstory on her to see, because then I don't mean to fast forward, but if you fast forward to season 2 and that one episode she was on, it was already just the babies were there. She got
Yeah.
married or whatever. But it was like you didn't have enough about her for her to come. Because at first she was a important character. She came in and stole everybody's attention. She was beautiful, but she was taking the attention off the diamond. So it was like, okay, what more about her? All y'all did was lock her in the room. She was waiting on letters, got a letter, and that was it.
Basically, all we learned about her in her past was that she got pregnant.
Yeah, it's but other than even in that present time, you don't know about her because she was locked in that room.
Yeah.
You don't know that or
It
about
was
her
almost
character.
like they wrote her in to be a distraction,
Yeah,
I guess, from Daphne. But one thing I will say about her is that she was definitely a fighter.
yeah.
She wasn't going for the okie doke.
Yeah,
She was
what?
like,
she wasn't gonna let nobody just tell her, "Oh, this what you gonna do."
Oh,
She
okay.
like had something.
she
No, I'm not
knew
doing.
that she knew that she needed a suitor, so she was like, "I'm gonna do whatever I have to do," even though she was hurt. That she got that letter from Sir George, she still was like, "I'm gonna do what I have to do to make sure that I'm not
taken
out
care
here
of."
like some type of whatever."
Yeah. Basically, if she didn't get married, she would be considered someone that was unclean. She would not be marriage material, and she would be shunned by everyone in the kingdom.
She'll be
So
ostracized.
she would be ostracized, and she would not be able to get married. And because she was a woman, she wouldn't have any way to take care of herself or her child, because women at that time were not able to do that.
Ain't that just messed up?
I feel like the black characters in Bridgerton in the first season specifically,
They're very strong.
yes. So she was using the male for his status. Everybody was using everyone for status.
Yeah, that's
actually.
what it was.
You had
She
to.
had to get it how she was living.
You had to, because that's the only way that you could live. Because without a status, she would probably be living on the streets. She wouldn't have anywhere to go. She wouldn't have any money. No one would talk to her. She would just be shunned forever.
Yeah, everybody would probably look down on her.
But I feel like the black characters in Bridgerton, besides, what's his name? Because I always keep forgetting. Simon. They weren't really treated that well, I don't think. They weren't given really good storylines. Because Marina, her whole thing was she was pregnant, and then maybe her love interest was dead.
I think
And
Simon and Lady Danbury had the best story.
Lady Danbury,
they
she
gave,
didn't-
but she didn't have a storyline.
Yes,
She
she
was
was
just
there.
there.
I mean that she wasn't treated differently. Like she wasn't like, oh, she's black.
she was she was
everybody
treated
else.
with the utmost respect.
That's because she had to earn. I think her character had to earn that. But I'm saying we didn't really learn.
Yeah,
a
we didn't
lot
learn
about
that
the
until
black
later.
characters.
Or even the boxer.
Or the queen.
We didn't learn.
Yeah, he was
much
just the
about
best
him.
Yeah,
man.
and I feel like he should have had a storyline
He
too,
should have had
because
a
he was
storyline.
important.
They did it especially to the dark-skinned black characters.
Yeah,
the
they
dark-skinned
did.
black characters, they did not really give them any storylines outside of other character storylines. They didn't have anything going on. He had a small storyline going on, but it's still connected to someone else's.
Yeah, it was connected to
It's not his backstory. Yeah, it wasn't his back.
Oh, that's terrible. Things they do to black people. Continue.
So outside of Marina, what were we saying? Oh yeah. Okay. So Colin ends up having an interest in Marina.
Yeah.
He doesn't know she's pregnant, but what we need to know, their storyline intersects with Penelope's.
Yes, because Penelope is in love.
Penelope is in love with Colin.
And on top of that, she know Marina pregnant.
Yes, and on top of that, Colin don't know Penelope like him.
He has no idea. No clue.
Oh God.
And so Penelope inadvertently causes like all these situations to happen within Marina's life, like having a fight with Eloise, trying to ruin her thing with Colin.
She was jealous.
She was quite jealous. And that really caused a lot of problems for them.
But you know what? On that episode, this is what made me think, honestly, when we found out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown, I didn't think she was Lady Whistledown, but I did think that she had told Lady Whistledown that
Like she
Marina was pregnant.
Like she.
Really? I knew she was Lady Whistledown the whole time. I was together.
I
didn't
just
think it was.
I knew that she had told for a fact. I'm like, she told Lady Whistledown because remember, she was like, I guess trying to tell Colin that something was up with Marina without trying to.
So basically, what you need to know, no one knows who Lady Whistledown is. No
Yeah.
one.
Nobody know.
Yeah.
Nobody know. But I had thought on that episode that she had told Lady Whistledown, because I'm like, oh, no one knows that Marina is pregnant besides the people that's in that household. I'm like, the mother wouldn't say nothing because she knew stuff would come back on her daughters.
And I thought the two sisters was too dumb to
Yeah, I just
figure it
thought they
out.
were slow. And then I feel like she had told her, and I'm like, oh, do she know who Lady
Well, I
Whistledown
never
is?
even thought Penelope told her because I was honestly was thinking at first it was gonna be the maid lady or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like Penelope is semi trying to help Eloise figure out who Whistledown was, but then when you think about it, she was trying to like, oh, I don't care about it anymore. They got other things that I'm worried about going on, because she kept thinking there's other things in life that's happening that you would understand, starting stuff with Eloise. So I guess she wanted Eloise to get off the trail. But now that you watch it, oh yeah, it was you the whole time. Because she even said stuff like, I get to stand on the side and watch people. I know who the last one's dancing, and I know who.
And that
this
made
and
me
this,
feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Dang, nobody liked her because she the short, chubby kid.
Yeah, she's like, and I'm always in this yellow dress. I'm always wearing yellow.
Whole time, it was her.
What do you think about that twist? Penelope
That was
being
good.
her.
I didn't
I wasn't
expect it, I
expecting it.
promise.
I thought it was gonna be revealed that she knew who it was.
Like she was gonna go and tell Lady Whistledown. I just felt like at most she was
was
just
an informant.
yes,
That's what
someone
in my
telling Lady
opinion.
Whistledown this is what's going on, so she could write about it. At most, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, but it was like, how did she feel? See, this jumping ahead. But how did she feel when such and such told her it's a trap? Go, go. Where she was going to deliver the
Eloise.
I didn't know it was gonna
Oh,
get that
yeah.
far. But when Eloise was telling there was a trap to go, like, how did you feel? Like, you had to feel bad because your friend was there to save you, but you didn't. Your friend don't know that you Lady
Lady
Whistledown.
Whistledown.
Like,
Your friend doesn't know that you're writing about her family.
Yeah.
You're
and she
writing
write
about all
about
these people,
everybody's
everyone.
family.
But my thing is this: if you pay attention, she didn't write that much about.
No, she didn't write nothing much about. No, she didn't write that much about the Featherton or the Bridgertons. Bridgertons.
It was very like mellow with the information she said about the Bridgertons, but I don't know if she wrote about the Featherington at all. But they had.
She wrote about Marina, and that's the Featherington.
The
Okay.
one time she wrote,
Yeah.
Marina is pretty. She the new eye catcher and stuff like
and
that.
then she
but
was pregnant.
And that-
But she wrote a few sly comments maybe about her sisters.
All the drama they really had going on, she didn't put that out there. So that's what made me think she was the informant. I'm like, oh, she's not gonna talk about her own family or her best friend's family. But I thought she knew who Lady Whistledown was, but she didn't tell nobody else because maybe that made her feel like she was included or important. Because in my opinion, I feel as her character, I feel like she felt like she wasn't as important. She was just like on the sidelines of everything.
They treated her like she was like the ugly stepchild.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what they treated
and
her
that's
as.
why she started writing.
And because she wasn't like the most attractive according to their standards back then. She was very educated, and that wasn't a thing. Oh, you so educated, whatever you like to write, all those kind of things. And they didn't think about, oh, those were some of her attributes. They just looked at her and was like, oh, little Penelope, oh, we're just including you because of your mom or because of your sisters.
I'm just
And I
sick of them
thought-
yellow dresses.
And I thought that her being the informant made her feel important. But whole time, she was Lady Whistledown. So I guess that was like her little,
It gave her a sort of
it's like a sense of,
sense of freedom. She had her own. No, she had her own sense of freedom. Like she had something, a part of her life that she had control over.
It made her
and that
likable.
actually, mattered to her.
Without people not knowing that it was her, it made her likable.
Yeah.
So
Like
to hear, oh, she said this, and oh, look, little lady, what's the down standing down? It made her feel like, yes, I'm doing like empowered, like I'm.
That's the only thing she had agency over.
literally, though, that was literally the only thing. If you pay attention to her character, it's not like she had suitors. It's not like she had lots of friends. She had Eloise, but she didn't have
And Marina.
Yeah, and Marina, but she didn't have a lot going for
And Colin.
herself. Yeah, and Colin.
But he only saw her as, she was in love with him, but he only saw her as a friend.
Yeah. Oh, that's my sister's best friend. Like, he didn't see her
He
as
even said he's
European.
European.
Penelope.
European.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
His nickname for her.
Yeah, like-
No, I was letting the viewers know that's his nickname.
Yeah, that was the nickname for Penelope.
Oh, shit.
10.
Okay, so outside that storyline, we have to go back to Daphne, who the prince, he proposes to Daphne, but out of confusion and being unsure, she ends up running away. Not running away like from home, but running away from like the ball.
From the
Yeah, she was like, I need to get some air because he was in the midst of proposing. I need to go clean myself up, my lord.
I like the my lord thing.
My
what?
lord.
I
My
didn't like
lord.
they called
Why?
because they made me feel like, oh, you think you're superior over me? You're not. We equal. We the same.
But in rank you
I
was. That's
know
what they
in
say.
rank, yeah. Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
I have been a courtesy to you every time you come to my house. What's wrong with you?
Can we just?
Hey, how you doing? How you feel today?
I just didn't like that part. It was like that back then. It's probably like that in the royal stuff now. I don't know, but honestly, that was one of those things I didn't like. But anywho, back to Daphne and her get proposed to and ducking and dodging it.
So she ended up running away, and Simon ended up following her. And their little spat turned into a little lip smack. And they were caught by Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh, he was upset about that.
What?
And during that time, if you were caught in a situation like that, you had to get married. And so
Just imagine people, if that was like in today's time and like the first person you kissed, you had to marry that person. There'd be a lot of unhappy people in this world. It's just funny. But let's continue.
So he ended up demanding that they need to get married, but Simon refuses. And so they challenge each other to a duel.
It's like you could kiss her, but you don't think she's wife material.
Yeah.
And so that made him more upset.
That's what he was like, you took my sister's innocence.
Yeah. So that's probably why he was so eager to have that duel with him. Because he like, you kiss her, the least you could do is follow the rules. And he remembered that Simon knew that Simon had said that he didn't want to get married.
He had
So
just
he
said it
was-
like a day or two
Yeah,
prior.
so Anthony is, if you don't want to get married, why are you going through this, especially with my sister?
See, but that's my thing about Anthony. He's a hypocrite because he challenges him to a duel to decide whether he can marry his sister or not. But also, he's trying to use that duel as an opportunity to lose his status over the head of the family so he can end up
With Sienna.
with Sienna.
Because he was like, if I kill him, we could run away together and
Yeah, that's sad. But I was glad that she got over him because in that sense, like when the show first started, I didn't like him because I thought he was just using her. And I'm like, I understand you the buy count or whatever, but
she has
See, the problem with Anthony is he couldn't take any responsibility. He was too busy preaching how he was the head of the household, trying to get his siblings to take responsibility, but he couldn't take any of the responsibility for himself. Once the mirrors were turned towards him, he wasn't able to take.
he didn't like the picture he
He
saw.
didn't like the picture that he saw. And that's the thing about Daphne and Anthony as characters in general. They were mirrors of each other. They are so similar to the point where they look at each other, they just see themselves and they can't stand it. They can't stand it. And so that's the thing about Anthony that really makes him an interesting character. And by the time we get to season 2, seeing his growth as a character as well, really just Sienna needed to break his heart for him to realize that he needs to get his act together. Because he couldn't get in his head that
He didn't see his
was
wrong. He
No,
didn't see his wrong, but he saw the wrong from everybody else, even though they were doing the exact same thing.
He was. And I'm the head of the family. Because remember, he even said it to his mom
Yeah.
when she was like asking him, was she asking him about marriage or something on that episode, I believe? And he was just like, I'm the head of the household, whatever. But she was like, but I'm still your mother.
Yeah.
And it was like, he was so stuck on, and I
He
think
was
it was
stuck
'cause
on
he
his
was-
title and his
yeah,
job.
he wasn't prepared for it.
he wasn't prepared for it because once he received that title, he was really young. His dad died right in front of him. That traumatized him. His mom lost all sense of
Motherism. That's a word.
just where she was. She lost her mind. And so he had to take care of all of that while she was just not.
Gathered
Yeah.
herself, yeah. She had to gather herself back together.
Which is understandable.
Yeah,
If you
'cause-
with somebody for so long, if you with somebody and you got out on 14 years old, y'all been married since 14, and
all
even
these kids.
even she said that in season 2 that they grew up together, so you knew that person your whole life. So yeah, of course you gonna it's gonna take a toll on you.
Yeah.
But that's what Bridgerton is all about. It's about love and loving through all these tragic circumstances
And staying true to yourself.
and staying true to yourself, knowing that in order to be in love, you have to love yourself. You have to be a whole person. That's the whole storyline with everyone, with Lady Bridgerton, with Daphne, with Anthony. They're the main three that go through these storylines. But Eloise as well, even though she doesn't have a love interest this season, her storyline was her learning to be independent and having her own agency and struggling with being a woman in that time period, learning that you had to get married, but also wanting to do the things that she wanted to do in her life.
And that she really struggled with that because it was like they're telling me that I have to be this way, but she knew in her heart I'm not like that.
Yeah.
So it was like you trying to
Make
figure
me
out who
something
you
I'm not.
are. Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out who I am because mind you, they're still young. They're in their teenage years. You start learning a lot about yourself during that time naturally. And it's like you try to put down the stuff that I am or the stuff that I love most about myself. You trying to put that down and just
Not
make
put
me
it
someone
down,
else.
stop it.
Yeah.
You try to stop
And
it.
just make me
You
someone's
telling me I
wife.
don't need to know how to read. I don't need to know how to write. I need to understand that. I just need to do what my husband says and live with. No, that's
Yeah.
not how life works.
It was interesting to see her, I guess, point of view, or I like how they included that in the show.
Yeah.
And it didn't just be like, oh, this is the woman's role. Because if you pay attention, even to not just Bridgerton, but even shows that was like based on royalty or like the times back then, it was like, this is the standard for a woman. This is the standard for a man. And that was just that. But in Bridgerton, it showed like everybody else's thought process on, okay, yeah, this is the standard for a woman, but I feel this way. And the man
It
was
showed the entire point of view.
yeah, like it wasn't just, oh, this is the standard of a woman, so that's just what it's
Yeah. It wasn't one-sided. It showed both
yeah.
sides. It showed the woman's point of view and the man's point of view and how society dictating how they should live really affected the other side. Yeah. Yeah, because women having to get married, they didn't want that, but men also had to get married too. But the circumstances and how it was presented to the different genders was different.
Way different. Way different. I feel like it was scary for each person, but I feel like the man was like, okay, you're gonna leave. You're supposed to leave, which is naturally scary because they're young too, some of them. So it's like, you telling me I'm supposed to be a leader, but I'm only this age. There's so much I don't know. So what am I gonna do? Leading not only myself, but my wife, and then in the future, their children. And then for the wife or the woman is you telling me I'm supposed to follow behind a man that I don't even know. Like y'all put me with him. I don't know him from Dave and Buster's. I don't know you. I don't know you. So it's like, how can I follow someone that I don't know? And on top of that, you telling me to develop this routine or become this type of woman who goes completely against who I feel that I am. Because to me, it seemed like all they wanted a woman to do was become married and become like a birthing machine.
Basically, to continue on the family
And
line.
like, I'm like, how in the world are you going to find yourself in that when you too busy?
Yeah. And if you had any other interests, those had to be secondary, right? Because you had to have an heir, because you had to keep up the status, and the family had to be taken care of. Because we think about the man being the head of the household, but the women, their roles were to basically, without women, you wouldn't be able to keep the household alive. You wouldn't be able to do it, and that's what their roles were. So you have all this pressure upon you in order to get married, in order to have children, because if you didn't have children, then your family would not probably be off anymore. Especially, we're talking about the Bridgertons. At least they had sons, but we have to look at the Featheringtons. They were all women. So if none of them got married, especially because their father ends up dying halfway through the season, if none of them got married, then they would not be able to live for too long in the lifestyle that they were living.
And that's what was it the second season when the cousin came in? Was the first season?
It was the second season.
That's what they like really paid in on with their family because it was like that's the issue. We got to find somebody to hurry up and marry you so you can create an heir, or this lifestyle as we know it is over.
Because once their mother died, it will just be those three. And if none of them were married, it would be over.
Their whole family would just be like Feathering To who? Like, it would have been just another part of history.
And there's just a lot of responsibility that you have to take upon yourself. And like Jessica says,
Girl power. Shout out to women. Because you men would be nothing without us. Okay? Back then and today. And if you got a problem with that, go argue with your mama. Anywho.
anyways,
Okay, Brady.
and
Oh, we can't see the comments on ours. Oh, they're right here.
Oh, so she was using the male for his status.
Yeah, and talking about some girl power. Yes, Brandon. Yes, she was. I'm sorry that you had to
We
find
didn't know
out
we
that
had
way.
comments on here. Sorry, guys.
Anywho,
so basically, speaking of that, we go back to Daphne. Not only did her brother Anthony see her, but her rival for the
yes,
That's what I wanted to say. She saw her too. Which, when you get
I
to
ain't
the
like her.
part of what we were talking about, Simon and Anthony were going to duel. What's her name? Daphne came and was like, "Y'all can't do this because I can't think of her name. What's her name? Saw us. So we have to get married."
Simon ends up telling Daphne that the reason he doesn't want to get married is because he can't give her the children.
Saying, I cannot give you any
Cressida.
children.
Cressida.
Cressida.
Her name is Cressida. The rival's name is Cressida.
Cressida, yeah.
And so because Cressida saw them, Daphne was like about to be out. Like she wouldn't be able to get married. But she and Simon decide to
She was tarnished. That's
Yeah,
what
she
the
was
word they
tarnished.
use.
She decides to marry Simon anyway, despite the fact that he cannot provide her with children.
Quote unquote, yeah, liar. But he had trauma, so we ain't gonna judge him.
So they end up petitioning for a special marriage license
Because they were in love. But it got denied by the archbishop because the queen told the archbishop no because Daphne denied her nephew the marriage proposal, the prince.
Yeah, we saw queen that she ain't want to be with him.
So
She said, once you go black, you never go back. That's what she said. Okay.
Queen.
She should know.
She should know.
You
She's
ain't,
black.
you don't see King George going back. He was right there with you.
Just
right there from day one.
I have never seen anything more beautiful.
Okay.
But so she denied him, so they had to go. Lady Danbury told Simon and Daphne they needed to go to the queen and don't be overboard with it, but give her what she wants. Like
Yep.
she wants you to grovel. She wants you to... See, this was actually one of my favorite parts of the whole show because when they went, Daphne was going in. She was going to come up with this whole fairy tale because she actually believed that Simon didn't like her, didn't want to be with her. And
I believe that he believed that he didn't want to be with her.
no, I think he knew the whole time he wanted to be with her, but he just had that.
No, what I mean is he was denying that he didn't want.
Oh yeah, he
that
was
he
denying.
wanted to be with her. So
But yeah, but
It's
when
like
it,
his whole
you gonna
life
let me
was
tell this
denial.
story though?
I'm
'Cause
sorry,
it made my
continue.
heart feel good.
He just was in denial his whole life.
You just do this
I'm
every
just
time.
saying.
Anyway,
That's what he was doing.
what was I saying?
The
Oh,
whole
so
thing.
Diamond Daphne was going in and telling the queen how they felt, but she was going off based off of that Simon didn't really like her, but he shut that up. He was like, "Stop, no, this is how I feel. I want to be with her. I want her as my wife." He did love her, but whatever. And so the queen was just like,
she was quite moved.
and then they got married.
Did
It
you
was
think
just
she
like,
got-
And
it was
Daphne was like,
honest.
"What?"
She was teary-eyed.
yeah, she was teary-eyed because she thought about George. She thought about George.
They had went through some stuff.
Oh, I love them. Anyway, that's another thing we're going to talk about later. But they ended up getting married because they were able to get this official marriage license because you only could get it for being in love. And it was another reason I can't remember, but the love part just...
Meanwhile, so while we're talking about that love, let's go to the other love story with Marina and Colin. Colin ends up proposing to Marina after Lady Featherington tells her to stop going after him.
But what if Featherington tried to get her to marry some old guy too? She was trying to get him married. She was trying to get Marina to marry that old man because she was like, he don't have a problem if you were pregnant or whatever. He just wants an heir. It was a really old man, and he was like, because he went to his, let me see your teeth. That
I don't remember that.
Kooky guy.
I can't think of that man's name. He was a really old man.
Yeah.
And Maria was like, I'm not marrying him. So that's why she was like, she told Lady Featherington, get me until Saturday with Colin. And if he don't propose by Saturday, then I will marry whatever that man's name was.
He
It
was
a
a really old guy.
man.
Okay. And she's a bit dismayed because he wants a longer engagement. He wants to wait. But she doesn't want to wait because they're going to find out she's pregnant. Yeah.
College, so we could make people.
We got to get married tomorrow so you could think that.
By now, because this is my sister's special day, because he did it at the wedding.
At
But
the
wait,
wedding.
But wait,
there's
this was
more.
my thing. What race was Sir George?
White, because his
Oh.
brother came.
Yeah.
Oh, because he always so did. Because, building up to that point, when she was trying to get Colin to propose, I'm like, what's going to happen? She birthed a black baby.
But it don't matter because she was black.
Oh, black jeans.
You know what I'm saying.
And the third major storyline, of course, is Eloise. And the queen wants Eloise to find out who Lady Whistledown is.
But
I like
that was a good storyline.
Let me just say this. I really like Eloise. I don't know if it's her voice.
She has
Her voice.
I don't know if it, but I looked up that girl, that lady is really 33 years old.
Is she?
Penelope 38.
Yeah.
I know they was that.
What's her name? Daphne like 35.
Oh, so they old.
All of them. And I'm like,
Then
they
I
look
thought.
so young.
They're older than I thought.
But
I thought they was
young.
fine.
But they look younger than.
Yeah.
But I was like,
I liked Eloise too.
Eloise, her whole vibe was
Yeah.
like, and I was like,
I enjoyed watching her.
because she was more like, I'm not a girly girl. Type
Mhm.
reminded me of myself a little. But
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay, so after Daphne and Simon get married, after a few situations that were not, I don't want to say avoidable, like they just weren't like he seemed indifferent to her. He seemed really indifferent to her.
when they made it to the end,
Yeah, when they were at the end, and she was wondering if his declaration of love was just like really genuine, and she felt the same. She felt like she loved him, and they end up like having sex by consummating their marriage.
before that was after she pretty much, because he said, "Oh, we're going to the end tonight." She's like, "We're going to the end." He was like, "Yes, because traveling down the road is dangerous at night." And she was just looking at him. And he was like, "Oh, I should have told you." It was like everything was so secretive with him, but she was just looking. Yeah, you should have told me. And then they got to the end, and then she found out they got separate rooms, and he was like, "I thought you were in a separate room."
Yeah.
And so that's when she was in her room and she was pacing and he came, I think he knocked at the door, was like, "You want to go eat or whatever?" He's like, "Go eat." And she was like, "We're supposed to be doing and whatever."
They were
And he was
supposed
like,
to
"I didn't think you wanted to."
slow down.
They were supposed to be consummating their
didn't wanna
marriage,
say-
which is natural. She talking about it's gross. These people had to get their business clear.
Get their
Is
business
what
done.
she was, because see, Daphne did not know
She didn't know.
much about sexual relations.
No, because she asked her mama before they left. And her mama was like, "You remember we had those hounds?" She's like, "Yes, the hounds." And she was like, "Remember when we had them?" She was like, "Oh, so the battle act is like when you make poopies." And she's like, "Yes."
She was
She didn't give her any
foolish.
information.
So let's just get to the point. Okay.
Yeah.
The next episode after that, they had sex.
So-
The whole episode was filled with sex.
They
They were having sex over here, sex over there,
It's a riot.
sex right in
I'm
front of us,
like,
sex
So,
everywhere. It was
FYI,
very
it's
sexual.
FYI,
Oh,
if you are like comfortable with
It was
those
sex.
types of
Sex.
scenes,
Sex.
fast forward. Because when I say
Whole
one
episode
episode,
of sex.
the whole episode had me for the whole two and the
Sex.
two. I just was first off,
no, the first scene of the first episode when Anthony and that lady was on the tree.
yeah,
That's like this.
I want that kind of made me hesitant.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
'Cause I was
I
like,
remember that because he was trying to hurry up.
yes,
He was trying to hurry up. He was looking up. He was looking.
Who was that?
That
You should've
scene
heard-
right there, I said, "Oh, Lord, I don't know if I want to watch
Look,
this."
they got me white.
And I was like, "I don't know if I want to watch this."
I don't know. I got interested. I was like, what's gonna happen next?
You freak. Yeah. Man, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, hold on. Cause see, Kaiser was telling me about the show, and I'm
I've learned that Bridgerton is quite famous for these scenes because they didn't really have it in like the second season, but the third, Queen Charlotte, they had another episode just sex.
is this allowed on television?
But if you look at it, it say TVMA.
It does. But that specific episode, Kaiser had told me, he had warned me before I got to the episode, because he was like, what episode were you on? And I think I was like on episode 2 or 3. I can't remember what episode I was on, but I kept falling asleep because I kept watching it late. And so Kaiser was like, oh, but look at the episode such and such.
No, but I feel so sorry for Daphne because she didn't know that. No, she didn't know what he was doing every time.
That's your good sign. Because it hurt. It's good.
Lord, she felt the last time when they were in the office and she saw the handkerchief and she looked, she ran so fast down to that some basement or something. But the maid was there. She was like, "Help me!"
Yeah.
And the maid was like, "You and your mama didn't have
that
sex." And
house,
she was
yeah.
like, "No." And so the maid told her, "Oh, baby, scared
Because
stand up on that pony."
she sure did.
Okay, and so that's Simon and Daphne. Colin learns that Marina is having a baby.
Yeah, because it was written and Lady was down tone. Why do you think she told? Why do you think she told?
Because she was jealous.
She was jealous and she was in love with Kyle.
I don't
She
think it was because of jealousy at this point. I think because like we said earlier, she was trying to warn Colin because she didn't feel like that was right.
Yeah.
Because she do consider Colin a friend. So she was like, am I going to take up for my cousin that I just met, or am I going to take up for somebody who's been my friend for the longest? Even though she was in love with him, which could have been actually, but I really think she was just trying to protect him in the long
I think it's both then. Two things can be true at once. She was jealous and she was trying to protect him.
Yeah. She didn't really at that point seem like she even cared about destroying Marina's life.
That's the point, because she was jealous. Because what we have to remember is she took a liking to Marina. Marina was like her best friend in the house. And so eventually it clicked and was like, wait, I just did that. But at first, she had her mind too set on telling Colin about Marina, and she didn't think about how that would affect Marina in the long run. Because after everybody finds out she's married, then she wouldn't be suitable for anyone, let alone Colin.
You mean that she's pregnant?
Yeah.
You said married. That's why I'm like, huh? I think she'd be suitable for somebody. She'd be suitable for her husband. But you meant pregnant. Yeah, that was a good one.
Let's just move forward. We did the story. Marina ends up getting her brother's brother coming in.
boyfriend.
Yeah, her boyfriend's brother. Her boyfriend's brother, he comes in and he proposes to her because she finds out that her boyfriend died in the war.
Yeah, that's very sad.
And I don't know, is this before or after she tries to have a miscarriage?
After.
Was that after? Yeah. Oh, because, we didn't even talk about her trying to miscarry purposely.
She tried found a way to.
I don't know what
she
that
created
stuff
some-
was.
What that was. I just saw him picking
I
up.
didn't know what herbs she.
Yeah, she had a recipe. She tried to have an abortion. And I felt sorry for her because that was her only way out. And she found out that she didn't lose the baby. And then she ended up finding out that she had to get married, but there was nobody that was going to marry her because everybody knew she was pregnant. And then this man comes in to marry her, but she doesn't even know him
At all.
And
So you know what was sad? Was that like she tried to miscarry, but it's like that was the only connection she had left to Sir George.
Yeah.
Like,
So
she
you're
didn't
talking
have-
that's why she was sad at the part. She thought she
Yeah.
lost the baby. But
She
then when
didn't
she
have-
still kicked.
that was the last connection. And then just to find out, like, oh, he died. There's nothing
I have
left
but
of him.
memory.
Yeah, but then of course
Because
thought
she
that-
burnt all the letters too.
because she thought he didn't want nothing to do with her. That's just messed up. Her story, it was just sad. It was like never just, oh, good for you. You just never was.
it was the classic Tyler Perry woman is pregnant story.
I'm like, God dang, she can't win for losing.
And they have a ball at Daphne and Simon's house. Anthony wants to take Sienna there because they're still in love and they have one more moment of sexual intercourse. But when he goes to pick her up for the ball,
Oh yeah, she
still-
was there
she
with
still-
another
She
man.
had that other man back
She's
at
with
the
another
house.
man.
The man she had been with.
And she told him that
It was over.
it was over.
Yep.
Oh.
She was like, "Forget about me. Forget." She kept saying it,
And he was so
like,
hurt.
She was like,
And I think that's why, like, when they introduced to season 2, when he's trying to find a wife, he like, I'm trying to find a wife that's suitable, not somebody that I love, but that's a woman
because he
that's
don't want to
suitable
have
to
to
be
go
a
through
houses.
heartbreaking.
To him, he realized that was just gonna make things worse, because not only how it affected him, but how he saw it affected his mom when someone that she truly loved died.
He didn't want that. And he opened up about that too. He was talking about that.
Yeah, because we're at the end of season 1. Basically, Daphne and Simon ended up reconciling.
Got one important part too. When Daphne did to Simon, like before they were about to get separated, he was like,
Yeah.
"If you are pregnant, I'm gonna do my due diligence and I'm gonna take care of you and the baby. But if not, we only gonna be married by name only. Like we won't have any type of relationship or anything."
Yeah.
Like they stopped having dinner together.
Yeah, like it was just they were only separated.
Yeah,
like
in
they
one
were
house,
just-
but they were separated.
Yeah, like they weren't talking or doing anything until they had to go. I think something happened. Something was written about or something, and they had to go. Daphne was like, "I have to go to my family's house, blah, 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 and it's gonna look suspicious if you're not there. You
Oh,
coming?" He was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm coming." And that's what she saw. He was doing good with Hyacinth and what's his name, Gregory. She was doing good with them. He was doing good with them, and it sparked something or whatever. And they kept talking
Yeah.
and stuff, and then eventually and then she was pregnant.
Yep.
And then she was pregnant. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Before that, when she went to the opera and she found out she wasn't pregnant, because at first I thought she was going to the bathroom to throw up or something. And she went and she was wiping herself and she had blood. And she was crying and screaming and crying. And her mama came in there. And if you look at Simon, he looked like sad, but he looked relieved too, because it was like pretty much I could finish my vow off.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, everything happened to where they had to leave or whatever, and then she ended up pregnant and
Yeah.
all kind of stuff. So
She ended up having a baby boy.
happy. He was so happy when the baby was born. So happy.
That was his chance, in my opinion.
To fix everything,
Yeah.
make everything all right.
And-
I just wish we could season 2.
And before we get to season 2, we have to get to Eloise and her still trying to find Lady Whistledown. And she's close, but the queen's, I'm going to have my own people do it. And so she ends up finding out that the queen is close to figure out who Lady Whistledown is, and her men are going after her. And so once she finds out the location that Lady Whistledown is going, she ends up making it there first in order to warn Lady Whistledown. And that's when we discover that Penelope is Lady Whistledown.
That was the tea of the season.
Quite.
It was quite the tea. It was quite. Okay, I can't do it. I'm not gonna try. So now let's introduce season 2.
This season 2 introduces the
Sharma.
the
Sharma family. Kate,
Edwina Sharma.
Edwina, and then the
And
mom.
then Lady, I forgot.
Lady Sharma.
Lady Sharma.
Lady-
Was it Lisa? No, it wasn't Lisa.
It was put on Mary.
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 Lady
Yeah,
Mary
I almost said
Sharma.
her real name.
Okay, Lady Mary. So the season starts off because of course, the first season starts off with Daphne, ends with Daphne. Second season starts off with Daphne, partly includes Daphne. She had nothing to do this season.
First season, second season, I don't even remember. I just
She
remember
was
She was just there.
there.
She was there to give her like advice and give her brother sense and just to be like a positive.
And that's so funny because she the fourth born and he's first born. And then she
Yeah.
going in. 'Cause
And
she,
I feel like
she
they
probably
were,
all of 17 years old now.
yeah, they were so close. Like I
Yeah.
feel like she was closest.
Because
to
that's
Amy
Anthony
more
and
than
Anthony
anybody
and
else.
Daphne were close. And what's his name?
Colin.
No, the other brother.
Oh, Benedict.
Benedict and
and
Eloise were close. And Colin was close with Penelope.
Yeah. It's like the first.
We forgot to talk about Benedict and his lifestyle.
That
That was a major part. I thought they were trying to go the route and make him gay. I thought that was gonna be a storyline, but it wasn't. And I was like, why'd you leave all these hints? Because I think the hints were obvious.
That one of the guys, he looked up to like one of the artists. He was up here married to a woman but was having an affair with a man.
You're having an affair with a man because he was in love with a man and he was only married to the woman so they could so they could be well off and have status. And I think she knew.
He was telling, I don't know if the wife knew or not, but I remember him and Benedict having that conversation. Just imagine like being with somebody you love.
But
Yeah,
and you can't
Benedict
even
I
have
felt like they
sex
were
with
setting
his
that up the whole
wife.
season.
Yes. Huh?
Benedict had sex with the man's wife.
Did he? Did she?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he was
See,
rolling
so
low
they
dicks and
so
the
they
more
probably
dicks
had an
come to
agreement.
come, and it was the lady, and then so when
They were at some kind of thing. She was like, Benedict, I want you to meet my wife. This was after Benedict saw
Oh,
him
so
and the man together. And so she told him, he told her it was her. And she was like, oh, hello. And he was like, yep. So I wonder if she did know. Because he was
she
like,
really
yes,
did know.
yeah.
They had an agreement.
Had to be because he was like, just imagine like being in love with someone and you can't even touch him or you can't even whatever without people suspecting stuff.
And that's why I thought they were making Benedict gay.
You know?
Like it made sense because it felt like they were putting all the seeds together. And then when they finally did it, I'm like, oh wait, so he's not?
Like he had sexual relations with the wife and stuff. So I'm like, oh, is he trying to figure himself out or trying to make himself force himself to this one thing when he likes something else? Because after that talk, I'm thinking, oh, he liked me. Whole time. No, he didn't.
But I'm like, y'all wasted time on that storyline when you could have just focused his character a little bit on the other side because you were adding hints because you made him became friends with the artist man. I thought him and the artist man were about to have an affair.
That's what I was afraid of. I was like,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Or that when he finally saw the two men like having sex or whatever, something was like awakening him. Something did awaken to him though. It was the man's wife. But that was his storyline. It was really small, but it's important to mention because it does play a factor in season 2. Because he becomes an artist. At this time, Eloise is about to have her coming out. That's why we start season 2 with Daphne because she was the main character there, her coming in because we want to know what's going on with Daphne, what's going on with Simon. Of course, Simon was in the second season, but she was a mother now, so she's coming in and it's basically a scene showing her like passing the torch to Eloise. The first episode of season 2 didn't really do anything besides just reintroduce us to the characters and introduce us to the Schwarmers because that's when we meet Kate.
oh,
Yeah,
first of all, this lady is so beautiful.
That's what I said. I was
structure of her
done.
face is
I'm
amazing.
like, man,
I was-
And her hair is gorgeous.
Yes.
because she was riding a horse, remember, and she turned around that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
was
reminded me
beautiful.
of, I don't mean to be funny, but remember on the horseback, the Hunchback of
Hunchback.
Notre Dame, when the lady Esmeralda had her hair was,
Yeah.
that's why she
Yeah.
looked like she was so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Like every scene that she was in, she just stole basically just because of her beauty. She was and her acting first of all because she was a great actress. She was the best character in this season. She made the romance between her and Anthony.
Oh,
She made
girl,
it.
Me.
This is why season 2 was my favorite because I feel like since we already knew who Anthony was as a character, we didn't have to be introduced to him.
pretty much, but just as what I want to say, like just a stronger person. Like she was like not about to back down.
It's so funny because when we think about the relationship between Daphne and Anthony and the relationship between, it's the same thing. And also Daphne and her, although we didn't really see much of it, her relationship with Kate and how she was really friendly with Kate. But her brother, who she's also like, she's not as friendly with him, right? Like, of course they love each other and of course they like are friends, right? But it's just interesting to show how she met someone that's also like her,
Right.
but she took more of a friendly stance towards her. And how how she noticed right away that Anthony was in love with Kate. Because it was the scene because Anthony spent all this time trying to go after Kate's sister, Edwina. But it's a scene when Daphne came to visit because they were having like their little family thing. And the first person he went to talk to was not Edwina. No, it was Kate. And I'm like, why is the first person you're going to talk to is the sister of the woman you're trying to court? And Daphne, I knew she was going to do it. She mistook Kate for Edwina.
She was like, yeah, we did so nice. And she was like, oh no, I'm Kate.
I'm Kate. Because she knew, definitely knew something was up between Anthony and Kate. Even though
She
he was
just
trying
didn't
to
know
claim-
Kate was Kate. She
Yeah,
thought
like
Kate was
Everybody knew,
it was like
basically.
something. The only person that was in the dark,
Edwina. That's because she was.
it's like from that. Because
You know who the first person to notice
there's-
it was? Lady Danbury.
And then the mother, and then Daphne, because Daphne wasn't even around much, but she noticed it as soon as she saw it.
I think the mama knew it too, but she just wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
And Lady
She was trying to be like in denial because she's like, I hope that don't happen because remember they had just came in because she left
because she
the mama left to marry someone who was, I guess,
which was
beneath
Kate's
their
mama.
family.
He was some kind of
What they said he was accountant,
delivery boy or something.
It was some. It just wasn't nothing of importance really to her family. So it's like she left her family to be with him, and then she came back. So of course they was talking to town. So it's. I wonder if she noticed Kate and Anthony, but was hoping nothing happened because it's. Oh, if that happened, like they gonna
we
shut
gonna be
us for
more
good.
scandal.
Yeah.
The
They
word
were
of the
good, though.
show, if y'all haven't got picked up, is scandal.
Baby, this show was scandalous. Season 2 was most scandalous in my opinion.
And Kate as a character and her relationship with Edwina really that's the thing that really got me in season 2 because it was her trying to deny her attraction to the man that her sister's trying to court. She didn't like him and she wanted Edwina to get married because that meant that Edwina and her mother would be able to protect it. She was being selfless, but it ended up turning into being selfish. Yeah.
But this the thing. This is a serious question. Okay, well, you're not, girl. It had to be me and dog, baby. If I met somebody first and I found them attractive and we had an encounter, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really here for my sister. Why would how would you tell your sister I met her first? Okay, RJ. How would you tell them that?
I would tell if it was like I would tell you, or I would want you to tell me because who wants to have feelings?
I understand you. How would you though?
I met him
Especially
first.
if you met him and was courting them. Like, how would you want those words to be said? Especially if you started liking him as much as she did start liking him.
Like,
how could you bring that to the table? So
I guess I was wanting to be like, sister, I just want you to know that this happened. I found him attractive, whatever. I want you to tell me like that because I would rather that and be hurt by that and then get over it than to be in the dark and then possibly marrying this man the whole time. He liking my sister and my sister liking him.
But her plan was after they got married to go back to.
So I understand that. But I don't mean that this stuff would have never still came out.
It would have come out, but she was too busy trying to get her sister married and get her set up. But they ended up spending too much time with each other and then keep having those moments of closeness. The one scene where she was about to get stung by the bee.
that was
That scene was supposed to be funny.
It wasn't supposed to.
But boy, did I laugh.
He was panicking. Are you okay? Are you all right, sir? Boy,
He didn't want
that's
nothing to
not
happen
be
to her.
love. No,
He didn't
I
want
think
what
he.
happened
I
to his
think
dad.
it triggered the thing that happened to his dad. Spoiler: his dad got killed by a bee, stuck by a bee.
Yeah. And Kate, at first, she didn't understand why he was
she didn't
doing
know.
that.
She just was like,
She
it
like,
was just a bee. You
but
said it.
it
It's
was
just
thing,
a bee. I'm okay. I'm okay.
And that's probably why not probably, but that's why she put
His
his
like
head
she
on
wanted to
her.
let him know I'm still
Like, I'm
breathing. I'm
okay.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
not. Because he was really hyperventilating. Like, I
Yeah.
thought he was
It
going
was
to pass
kind of
out.
a sad moment.
Because for her, like you said, she didn't know that his dad died from a bee sting. Yeah. So she just thinking he being weird. I mean, she probably knew it was
No, she
something.
realized she was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
she probably knew it was something, but at first she probably thought he was being weird, but she didn't notice it. Like, it ain't stopping. Like, it's something that has
Like,
to be
I
more.
wonder if she thought that, oh, he cares so much for me or have such deep feelings for me. This is why he, like, acting like that. I wonder if that was, like, one of her.
No, that's not what it showed on her face. She was she was too freaked out in that moment to I don't even think think to even think those thoughts? 'Cause
That's what I'm saying. She knew it had to be something that was triggering to her. Oh, the beast thing signifies something else. But she didn't realize that it was a definite spot. The beast stuck his dad died. So like,
she attributed to the bee, but she didn't know what the bee signified to him.
that was very sad. That was very sad.
Their whole love triangle was very interesting because I didn't know they was gonna go that way, and I especially didn't know they was gonna go that way with two sisters, and then the one sister being so much younger than because how old I believe no Kate was 26, but did they say how old Edwina was? Do you remember? Was she like 20 or
No,
20?
it was whatever the episode when they were arguing about
Yeah.
at the wedding. She was like, did she say 7 and 10 years old? She said I was 7 and 10
Yeah,
years
so
old.
she was almost 10 years younger than her. So it's dang. Y'all
But we didn't even tell a part of how they were sisters.
They had two separate dads, right? Or two separate moms. Two separate moms.
yeah.
So if Kate was born before her dad met Edwina's mom.
Yeah. But Edwina's mom, Mary, took Kate in as her own daughter because her mom passed away. Yeah. But
Kate had a sad life.
yeah. And this you could tell eventually as the season go on, you could tell that she, in my opinion, that she wanted to be married and stuff like that. Like she wanted that lifestyle. But it's to her, I guess she felt it was too late. So instead of it
Yeah, because by 26, she was considered an old maid. She was considered that. Once you're in your late 20s, you out the game.
too late for me, so I'm gonna pour all this into my sister who still has a chance. Yeah,
That's so sad.
it was pretty sad, but I guess that's why she put all her time into preparing Edwina to be a wife, but also all her time into the activities that she liked doing.
She said
Yeah, like she knew I'm never gonna get married. I'm never gonna have children. I'm just gonna do this with my life. And had no idea that somebody like Anthony would come in, especially at that time, and be someone that she fall in love with.
I liked the part when they were at the bar and her sister was like, don't they look beautiful?
It was like she just was so oblivious to
Oh, one thing I want to say too about this show.
so innocent.
I want to say this. This show is crazy a little bit because how y'all playing Beyonce, Alicia Keys, and Shawn Mendes on the violin like it's
But it was classic, like it said classical.
like it
rendition.
happened in 1800s.
Yeah,
We know
of
that
such and such.
Shonda, we know.
And before I knew, because I had the subtitles on, but I wasn't reading when they were saying when music was playing.
Yeah.
And I'm up here listening while they dance.
If I ain't got you back,
I know that song. So that was pretty funny.
I
when they
like
put
how
that
y'all
in there.
fit that in. I'm
I
just
like
saying.
how they did that too. It was very interesting. That's why I like season 2 better than season 1.
They even did it in season 1 too. They had songs in season 1. They did it in Queen Charlotte. In Queen Charlotte, they play "I Always Love You."
That is so funny.
The three things they had, there was a lot of color in people and in their clothes, a lot of modern music, and a lot of drama. I don't know.
A lot of drama.
So I want to continue, but we're almost at 2 hours. So what I should ask is, let's give overall summaries of what we think about Bridgerton. I feel like Queen Charlotte can be a whole different conversation.
It could, because there's a lot to unpack from that within itself about her, really. So, I guess to summarize, Bridgerton is a...
Give your pitch. Why do you think people should watch Bridgerton?
People should watch Bridgerton because it's a very honest, even though it's a fictional show, it has a very honest and open mindset on how life was back in the day and how people's thought process wasn't just black and white. Bridgerton showed the gray areas of people's mindsets back then. That's why you should watch it.
Okay. What about you, sister? Why do you think people should watch Bridgerton?
I think people should watch Bridgerton if you want an undignified love story.
And what?
Dignified.
Undignified.
It's not your everyday love story that you watch like your modern day stuff, because you get to see that people had back then, like we said earlier, back then people they were just put to be told you're gonna be a wife. You have to do this, you have to do that. This show both stories and it showed why the person may have fell in love, because at first they weren't in love. They knew they weren't gonna get married because of love or whatever, but it showed the process and the mindset of why they fell in love, how they fell in love, like what brought all that in, and then also how family and friends play a part in your love story, how their opinions and their thought processes will modify or shift your mindset of love and stuff. So it's very opinionated, but it's very nurturing to the fact of love. Like you have to be open minded when you watch this. And then also because I'm gonna be honest, being married and seeing something like this, it also shifts your mind and be like, oh, I could start thinking like this too. Cause when you marry, sometimes you do get stuck into one mind. Or just being in a relationship, you can just be stuck into one mindset. And so this just changed, oh, I can do this, or I want to do this, or I will do this. And it just makes you want to be more communicative and stuff. So I feel like if you want to watch a show to just open your mind or broaden your mindset, then Bridgerton is good. So.
Yeah, I think Bridgerton, even though it's a show, and I know a lot of times people take away things from shows, but I think even though
To
it's
be
a
a
show
good
and it's an
takeaway.
enjoyable show,
Yeah.
like you could still take away life lessons from it.
It's a different world where everybody.
Completely different.
What I mean by different world, I mean historically, you have Black people, you have people of all these different,
Yeah, diversity.
the diversity of different mindset, what it will be like in that time period if people as Black people were considered
Royalty.
considered as people as considered available. It's not,
Yeah, available, high status.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's fun. That's why people like Bridgerton a lot. Is the escapism of it. On that, we're also those type of love stories.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be pigeonholed into just specific love stories of during this time or that time.
Yeah.
Slavery or
Mhm.
we can have stories that are told of love or
Included. It's like inclusive
yes,
to
it's
everyone.
inclusive to everyone.
That I think that made it like a refreshing thing to watch. Cause let me be honest, I was shocked. I was shocked when it was named Simon and Daphne was together. And then later on, when they they talked about like Lady Danbury and like all that type of stuff, I was shocked. 'Cause
Or
I'm
Queen
like,
Charlotte
yeah,
and King George.
Or Kate.
When they showed them in Bridgerton too, because you never really saw King George until like certain parts of season 2, was it? Or was it season
It was season 2.
when like you would see you be like, oh wait, she married to a Caucasian king. Like you
Yeah.
didn't know. And that type of stuff made like go look it up and it's oh wait, that really was true. Like she really was married to a white king and he really did have they call this mania, some kind of mania, like a issue going on.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that type of stuff was true. You already know the part about courting and stuff is true because you see it in other shows, but you know,
What we need to talk about one day when we get to Queen Charlotte is how they treat racism in Bridgerton and how the positive aspects and the negative aspects of having a colorblind world, but then finally trying to discuss racism and is it possible to be able to show this type of world during this time period while also showing that there's racism that existed. Are you trying to kill two birds with one stone? Are you trying to have both ways?
Kind of in season 1, colorblind. In my opinion, the whole Bridgerton season 1 and 2 was colorblind. But when you got to Queen Charlotte,
and that's because
that's
I
when
think
it
Queen
started.
Charlotte was based on the past years. It was before everything that happened.
Yeah,
Bridgerton.
it was
But
way
yeah,
before.
What I want to see is, are they successful in doing that? Because they already set the standard of being colorblind. Were they successful in speaking of racism, especially within the Black community, people like us, especially since they focus a lot more on dark-skinned characters like Lady Danbury and how these people weren't included. So I feel like that'll be a good thing to discuss when we get to that. But I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I got a lot of editing to do.
It wasn't that bad. We make the show.
I think it was great, live as it is.
But before this episode comes out, we'll have a few episodes that are going to come out before this episode. So that gives me a chance to really do some things.
Yeah, he trying to edit us out.
I have Shoujo with Alyssa Vessel coming up, and I have High School High coming up. Having another episode with my other sister, Avid Elementary.
First
With with one sister, Abbott Elementary,
Why we just say
and then
That's what I'm saying. I get
I have The Chosen coming up, so it'll be great.
chosen.
So-
Who's talking about the chosen? Daddy and Mom.
Not Daddy and Mom.
Cam?
Dad is not coming on my podcast. Mom is coming on my podcast. For The Chosen, I'm trying not to reveal too much, but y'all keep asking. I'm gonna have The Chosen. But thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having
and-
us. It was fun.
Yeah. So I want you guys to say goodbye.
Want me to say it in British?
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching and listening.
I'm a fan of.
Links are available in the show notes, including the new I'm a Fan of website. See you soon, fanatics. Nicholas signing out.
Kaiser recording without a microphone here. You don't think I'll let this episode go by without something happening, right?
Crazy dance party.